All right, welcome back to SportsLine here on News Channel 5 Plus as we continue our evening with Jonathan Hutton from Outkick360 and, of course, our Titans and NFL analysts on the Electric Power Company Sunday Sports Central. And as Jay Hutt put it so eloquently in the first segment, this is a show we weren't expecting to do with the Titans one and done in the AFC playoffs after being the #1 seed. Jay Hutt, we're going to take a call real quick, see who's on the line. Kenny joins us. Good morning, or good evening, Kenny.
Hey, how y'all doing?
What's up, man?
Hey, Kenny.
Frustrated.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's the word. That's the word. Okay, I just got a couple of things, and I'll hang up and listen.
Sure.
I believe I'm in the minority in that I believe we can still win with Tannehill.
Okay.
My issue is I do not, for even a millisecond, believe we can win with Tannehill and Todd Downing.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen it all year. The offense, it's not schemed well. The design's not good. Play spacing, play concepts. I've heard people say it's the same offense that Arthur Smith runs. No way, not even remotely. It's got elements of it.
Sure.
But it's not even close. Like that first play,
Yeah.
the first interception, there was nothing to draw the free safety away from it. All he had to do was focus on Julio Jones. That's it. If there was something there to take that safety away from that play, it could have been a completely different situation. But the way it's set up, the offense is designed to draw coverage to the middle of the field,
Mm-hmm.
which we all know is where Tannehill is at his best. That's where he throws his best.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where our guys like A.J. Brown, middle of the field, hit him on a short, quick crosser. He goes deep with it.
Yep.
Picks up yard after the catch.
Yep.
And there's none of that there now. And when it is there, the way the route spacing and concepts are designed, defenders are drawn into that more than one, and there's no room for them to make yard after catch. That's why we've not seen it.
Yeah.
I appreciate y'all letting me vent, but there's one more thing, too. If Hutton was wrong about one thing, John Robinson and Amy Adams Strunk are not the people the most pissed off about it. I am. I'm the one that's won, because I'm telling you right now, Todd Downing would be driving his car down the interstate looking for another place to live right now if it was up to me.
All right, Kenny. Thanks so much for the call.
Kenny, thank you, man.
Yeah, that kind of
He's not wrong, by the way.
Yeah.
He's not wrong about the offense and yards after catch. That took a real dip this year. And I was chalking it up, John, to the injuries. You know, some of the play and some of the separation with receivers during the middle portion of that season. You know, because Julio's on IR and he's in a game. He's in for half of a game and then he's out for a game and a half. I don't disagree with him, though, on yards after the catch. That was not there. Play action, that is where Tannehill's at his best. He's right about throwing over the middle. They really missed Jonnu Smith this year. They got 0 from Anthony Ferkser. Mm-hmm. But here's where I come down on Saturday's game. I'm torn, and I've been battling this since the game on, is it Downing or is it Tannehill? Because Tannehill in the postseason, 5 games, he has 7 touchdown passes and 5 interceptions in 5 games. Now, 3 of those picks came this past week, but we also saw him play a very poor performance against Baltimore last year at home. His home performances have been worse than the games on the road whenever they had Henry rolling. But when the defense shuts down Henry, he's got to step up and make some throws, and he hasn't been doing that. And that was with Arthur Smith or without him. I agree with him, though. Arthur Smith is light years better than Todd Downing based on what we saw this year. And that's with or without the injuries there, because the tendencies were pretty obvious. I mean, first half of the season, and let me say this, if I'm picking up on this, everybody can pick up on this.
Sure.
It was, if it's 3rd down and McNichols is on the field, it is 3rd and McNichols, it's a pass. Mm-hmm. No threat of a run. There's no chance McNichols is getting the ball in the backfield. 0 chance. Now, you don't know where the ball's going, but you know it's a pass. Jesse Bates didn't even bite on the play action on the first play, and he's right. There was no route over the top that he even had to concern himself with. The second pick, Mike Hilton knew it was coming because they ran a similar concept at the end of the first quarter where he nearly got a hand on that blitz. And the second time he saw it, he picked it off. And the reason I'm struggling with on who I'm pointing to on this, Tannehill's got A.J. Brown on the second interception. He's got A.J. Brown to his left, and the defensive back is 8 to 9 yards off the ball. If that's Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, they're making that play.
Right.
Even if the route is designed to go to Pringle. They're turning her, in this case, it was going to Chester Rogers. The guy's getting the snap. Mahomes is turning and firing it to Kelce. We didn't see that. Tannehill just went through the motions of the play. So I don't know if that's play call or if that's quarterback recognition, but it's all very frustrating because it's turning into a theme. And last year, the defense was blamed. Now, everybody is all of a sudden a film analyst, and it's not hard to find these clips of Todd Downing's offense and what not to do.
Well, you're right. And I hate to oversimplify it, but you know this, Jay Hutt. Quarterbacks are judged by what they do in the postseason. We've seen a lot of, like Kirk Cousins is a pretty decent regular season quarterback. He hasn't really done much in the playoffs. And so you're right, there is that balance. Is it play caller, OC? Is it quarterback? Is it both? But, we've seen now basically in 3 straight playoff games, if you go back to the AFC title game in Kansas City a couple of years ago, Tannehill hasn't gotten it done. And, it's funny because you probably like me, we do interviews all over the country about the Titans, usually, their next opponent or whatever. And we always get asked about Ryan Tannehill. And I felt like, I always said, hey, he may not be a top 5 quarterback, but when he's on, he can give you top 5 level quarterback play. He just hasn't gotten it done his last 8 quarters in the playoffs. And, we're going to get to what we saw over the weekend in just a bit. But, I mean, you look at the AFC, man, you got some young stud quarterbacks on the come, bro. And I just don't know if Tannehill measures up. I mean, he's been terrific since becoming a starter, both on and off the field. He's been a leader. He's won games, but it's about what you do in the postseason. And, you talk about Todd Downing in the play calling. I mean, obviously he's getting killed for the first play, getting killed for the first 2 interception plays. And then that sequence when the game was tied and, you got 3rd and a foot and you're going shotgun, zone read, he gets stuffed. And then on 4th and a foot, everybody in the world knows Derrick Henry's getting the ball. Not even he could get through all those, those waves and waves of Bengal defenders. And that, for me, Jonathan, was when I first because all along during the game, I was saying to myself, well, the Titans are going to figure out a way. They're going to get out of here with a win. It may not be pretty, but they're going to win this game. When they got that 4th down stop, that's when I started to think, they could mess around and lose this game. And that's ultimately what we saw.
I didn't even bring up, Kenny, the 3rd interception where Ferkshire's open, and they force it to Nick Westbrook-Akina. Biggest play, 3rd and 5. And it's a 4-down territory spot. Well, no, it wouldn't be because the time was on the clock. They had 28 seconds left, so they would have punted away with the tie game. 3rd and 5 to go win, and they're throwing to Nick Westbrook-Akina. Julio Jones is not even on the field, and they're not forcing the football to A.J. Brown. And that was another thing in this game. We saw this start in Houston. A.J. and Julio together, they forced coverages that we haven't seen with all the injuries. And we saw the ball distribution from Tannehill with Ferkser and Chester Rogers and Westbrook-Akina with the 30-yard plus gain whenever Tannehill spun out of that pressure. John, other than A.J. or Julio Jones, no one stepped up to make a catch or even got many targets. Meanwhile, Cincinnati had 6 different receivers make some big grabs throughout that game. And that was a standout factor that just looking, beneath a couple of stats, they didn't have anybody other than their top guys that they were forcing the football to. AJ had 5 catches on 9 targets, but again, you mentioned it, short yardage, their bread and butter. They couldn't move the pile. They weren't getting anything off the line of scrimmage. Couldn't get a yard for a 2-point conversion. There were just so many different factors of this that leave you going, what just happened? Because this offense, from what we saw last year and what they added and what they got back going into the postseason, it was awful. And fans want to point the blame at something. And last year, it was the defense. This year, it's Tannehill and the offense.
All right, so given that, all that being said, where are you at with Tannehill? Is he the guy? Can the Titans get to and ultimately win a Super Bowl with Ryan Tannehill at the controls?
Well, you're playing with a bit of fire, but the answer is yes, you can. But here's the key with it. Before you laugh at me, John, because you asked me this on Sports Central, and I said, look, not with playoff Tannehill. If you get a regular season version of him, that guy can be really good for you. Here's what playoff Tannehill does, though. He's not winning you games, and he's affecting how you lose them. Mm-hmm. So, in a way, the 49ers and the Titans are very similar. Tough, hard-nosed, gritty style, defensive-led, and that's what the Titans were, believe it or not, this year.
Absolutely.
And then run game. It's the run game, and you just don't want the quarterback, in this case Jimmy Garoppolo, to turn it over, because if he starts throwing picks, ball game. And Tannehill started that, and they're not overcoming those turnovers. So that was the difference in the game. Burrow got sacked 9 times, and while he had a pick, it was on a great play by Amani Hooker, but he's not throwing the obvious picks. The Titans aren't swarming around knowing where he's going with the football. The Bengals knew what they were doing. They knew what the Titans offense was going to do, and that's what's most alarming, is you just can't have your quarterback lose you games in the biggest moments. And you're right. You're remembered for your playoff play as a quarterback. And in the biggest moments of the season, which was Saturday, Tannehill played small.
What about Todd Downing, Jay Hutt? I mean, Vrabel was pressed about, his status the other day at his Monday season-ending press conference, and, seemed to put Downing over and, talked about what a good coach he is. A lot of fans want him gone. What say you?
Well, to have him gone, you need a replacement.
Yeah.
The replacement last year, before they hired Todd Downing officially, they put in a request to talk with Tim Kelly, the offensive coordinator in Houston, and the Texans denied that request. Well, Tim Kelly has since been fired. He's been let go this past year, and he's probably feeling the same way that Todd Downing would feel if he got let go here. Hey, I just went through all these injuries. Tim Kelly's saying, hey man, I was playing with Deshaun Watson last year, and this year, I was playing with a rookie 3rd, 4th round pick and going through a bunch of injuries of my own. Point being, I don't want to place all the blame on Downing, but I'm also not, John, I'm not sitting here saying that this is the Shane Bowen benefit of the doubt either, because we had not seen Bowen call plays. We have seen Downing do this in Oakland with the Raiders. And because of that, I expected more. Like with everything involved here and the way they went out, and watching some of the NFL films, Bengals mic'd up on defense, and they're chirping on the sideline saying, hey, if you get this look again, the football's coming out. It's going to be right here. And then Hilton picks it off. Like that stuff can't happen. I shouldn't be able to sit here in Murfreesboro and tell you it's a pass or a run on 3rd down and 4. It was 3rd and 3. Right. 3rd and 3 should give you some options with Derrick Henry. And if Henry's on the field, there's a threat of a run, even if you don't want to run the football on 3rd and 3. If Jeremy McNichols was on the field on 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, no run. It's a pass all the way. And to me, you just can't be that you can't be that obvious with it. And I'm really dumbing it down because I'm in no way a quarterback or a play caller. Right. But there's got to be some layers to it that Arthur Smith brought that Downing hasn't brought to the table with or without his best players. And he was playing with some guys off the street that, no one thought were going to come in here and produce. And then they kept the run game going, but the pass game just never built off of that. Even with AJ back, with Julio back, again, some of the guys that you were expecting to step up didn't. And one of those guys is Todd Downing.
No question about it. So for now, Todd Downing still on Mike Vrabel's staff, but Coach Vrabes did part ways with a few coaches this week. And get Jay Hutt's thoughts on that and the future of the Titans, and also get his thoughts on the championship games this weekend and so much more. It's an evening with Jonathan Hutton. Stay with us. Much more coming up right here on SportsLine on News Channel 5+.